The Tragedy of Cinema podcast is intended as a family-friendly program that by extension strives to be inclusive to all people regardless of their ethnicity, gender, creed, or any other identifying factors in this incredibly diverse world of ours. With that said, some of the films we discuss may contain serious subject matters or have content considered morally objectionable by today's standards. We do not intend to condone or dismiss these aspects of these films, but our primary focus will be on what we believe the film succeeds at, some fun facts, and our personal enjoyment factors of each film. With that said, we hope you enjoy the show.
Jimbo and Bond take flight. 80s dreams on its delight. In the realm of black and white. Movies and TV flow through the stories we all know. Silver screen tales unfold in the magic they bestow. The tragedy of cinema, when memories shimmer. Join us as we toast to the tales we love the most.
To dance, honey?
Hey. Hi. You busy? I'm telling you, Tom, she's nothing but trouble. You better keep your mind off what you're thinking. What do you want to do, wind up in Leavenworth?
It could be like this. Nobody ever kissed me the way you do.
Nobody's gonna do nothing. Anybody does any killing around here, I'll do it. Okay, Fatso. It's killing you want. Come on.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Tragedy of Cinema podcast. I'm your host, Jimbo, and tonight, not only am I joined by my regular co-host,
hey, this is Bond in Texas,
but we are also joined by, you know him, you love him, ADZ from the Tragedy of Cinema's Twilight Zone series. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
How's it going, guys? Good to be
nice to be here.
I am really excited to talk about tonight's show. This is one of those movies that I had never seen before. We decided to do this podcast. Bond, have you ever watched this movie before we decided to do this?
No, man. There's only one famous scene, the little beach scene where they're holding each other and kissing as the waves come in. That's the only thing I knew about this movie going into it.
80s, what about you?
I think I'd seen it on television, like when they ran it on regular TV, maybe as a kid.
The whole thing?
I didn't last very long. No.
Okay.
Clips of it, yeah, but I don't think I had watched the entire thing. But when I saw it on the Vudu, I did watch it. I think I told you about it probably like 6 months ago. I had watched it before, and I think I might have sent you a text and like, "Hey, man, this is a good movie." you should check it out because you had already bought it. And then, yeah, here we are. So,
Yep. So the movie we're talking about is From Here to Eternity. This has surprisingly probably climbed into my top 10 favorite movies of all time.
wow.
That's how impressive this movie is. So before we get started, I have a question.
Here we go.
All right. You ready? Who wants it first? Bond.
I'll
All
take
right.
it. Man,
Bond
I'll
said he's
take it. Go
taking it.
ahead. Give it to me straight.
All right. This movie has a lot of famous actors and actresses in it, which I'm sure you'll cover in the cast. Bond, what other movie has impressed you upon a first showing like this movie did? Is there any other movie that you watched for the first time and said, man, that is a great movie. That should be up high up on my favorite movies list of all time?
It's a mad, 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 mad world.
Oh,
It's a great
That
episode.
ensemble cast, just every single character, every single scene in that movie. I love the treasure hunt idea behind it. And so the movie's just exciting. It's funny. And I knew it was going to be okay going into it. But afterwards I was like, how is this not a series of movies? How is this not a franchise of movies, of these madcap treasure hunt type movies?
Mhm.
That movie is just so good.
All right. 80s.
I'm going to go with the Donna Reed connection. The first time I saw It's a Wonderful Life, it's remained. It's probably one of my favorite movies of all time. So,
Well, that
First time I
was
saw it was
pretty easy
awesome.
for him, huh?
easy. So, I'm going to go with that one.
Very, very nice. So, Bond, why don't you go ahead and go over this cast list? Then we'll kick it over to ADZ to get a plot summary, maybe a little step by step of the movie. He explains it better than both of us can. So,
True, man. Okay, so we're looking at From Here to Eternity. It's a 1953 American romantic war drama. This movie is directed by Fred Zinnemann. He has 10 Academy Award nominations, right? And he's won once for this movie. This is the only one he won. He's nominated 10 times. He's only won once. He was also nominated for the movie High Noon, Oklahoma, those kind of things. So it's directed by Fred Zinnemann. Screenplay by Daniel Teradash. It's based on From Here to Eternity by James Jones, the novel. Produced by Buddy Adler. This movie has a running time of 118 minutes. So it's a little short of 2 hours long. Like I said, it came out in August of 53. Now, cast-wise, I could go over 50 names, 50 big actors and actresses in this thing. But before I do that, let me tell you about the budget on this thing. Let's get those things out of the way. The budget for this movie in 1953 was about $1.7 million, right? Translated to today's money, that's about $24 million. Think about trying to put a war movie of this magnitude together for $24 million today. So the fact that the budget was 1.7 back then, amazing.
I don't want to steal your thunder too, but
No, go for it.
Jimbo may have this in the trivia. I think they shot it in a record time too. It was like 40 days or something.
42
like that.
days, I do believe. I was trying to find it in my notes. I think it's 42
That's
days.
amazing.
And the Pearl Harbor scenes with the airplanes, they shot that in a day and a half. All that.
Wow. That's amazing. To say this movie was a box office hit is an understatement. This movie is the Star Wars, Jurassic Park, Jaws of its time. This movie is huge. It did $30.5 million at the box office. Okay. Translated to today's money, that's $364 million. It cost $24 million to make. It made $364. So it was a big blockbuster. It was one of the biggest movies of the decade. This movie stars Burt Lancaster. Burt Lancaster plays First Sergeant Milton Warden. And he was actually in the Army for real.
Mm-hmm.
Burt Lancaster served in the Army from 1943 to 1945. So he knew all about military procedures and what military life was like. He has been nominated for 4 Academy Awards. He did win one for a gunfight at the Old K Corral. And he was just amazing in this movie. What do you guys think about Burt Lancaster?
Great.
I think
it was hard for me to decide though between him and Montgomery Clift because I thought they were both awesome. And
that's what I'm saying. They were. It was kind of like having 2 parallel storylines.
Yeah.
On 2 different paths that ended up intertwining throughout the movie, and I like that about this.
Yep.
I did too, man. I did too. As you said, Montgomery Clift. Montgomery Clift plays Private Robert E. Lee Pruitt. Robert E. Lee Pruitt. He's been nominated for 4 Academy Awards in his lifetime. He's also in the movies like Place in the Sun and the movie Red River. And how amazing is Robert E. Lee Pruitt in this movie?
Outstanding.
Montgomery Clift. I have to admit, going in, I didn't know much about Montgomery Clift.
Me
but
either.
after watching this movie, I'm a fan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
This
I got
movie has
James Dean vibes.
Yep, that's exactly who I was thinking.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking too, man. This movie has Deborah Kerr as Karen Holmes. She was nominated for 6 Academy Awards in her lifetime, and she's in a movie called The Sundowners, which won a bunch of awards, and also The King and I. And I really like Deborah Kerr in this movie. Not available as a prop piece is our next actress. Donna Reed. Donna Reed plays Alma Burke. Of course, we know her from It's a Wonderful Life. We know her from the Donna Reed Show that she had back then. She was nominated for 1 Academy Award in her lifetime, and she's got 1 win, so that's not bad. And she's a doll in this movie. I don't know about her. I don't know about her job in this movie, but girl's got to work. This movie has Frank Sinatra in it. Frank Sinatra, of course, member of the Rat Pack. He plays Private Angelo Maggio. He's that classic crooner. He has sold 150 million records, and he was also in the movie The Manchurian Candidate.
He did it his way.
You know what was weird was seeing Frank Sinatra that thin.
Exactly. I never remember seeing him that.
They're all skinny, man. They're all
super skinny in this movie.
Waists.
Well, they're all in the Army. What do you expect?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but I whenever I picture Frank Sinatra, I picture older, bigger, overweight Frank Sinatra. Yeah, with the suits and the lounge act. I don't picture the super skinny, paper thin.
He was really young here too. It seems.
Yeah, he was great in this movie. Great. Philip Ober plays Captain Dana Dynamite Holmes. He was in the movie North by Northwest. Mickey Shaughnessy plays Corporal Leva. He was in Jailhouse Rock. And there's a couple other ones. We have to mention Ernest Borgnine's in this movie, Staff Sergeant James Fatso Judson, in movies like The Wild Bunch, Marley, which he won an Oscar for, and of course The Poseidon Adventure. We also have Jack Warden as Corporal Buckley. He was in Heaven Can Wait, nominated for 2 Academy Awards. I know him from the movie Used Cars and from the movie Problem Child. So he's a great actor. I mentioned to you guys before we started the podcast, if you look closely, you probably will see a very young, hidden in the background, George Reeves, who plays Sergeant Malin Stark. He's uncredited in this role, but we know him, of course, as the legendary Superman. And also another actor in the background, Claude Akins, played Sergeant Baldy Dom. He's uncredited, and he goes on to become famous, and he plays in the show Sheriff Lobo. He's known as Sheriff Lobo.
In Twilight Zone.
And a lot of Twilight Zone episodes. Very cool. But anyway, that's the cast. That's all the stats and stuff that I have from From Here to Eternity.
Well, Bond, did it win any awards?
I'm glad you asked because it did. It did win a few.
A few?
Did win a few.
You might want to summarize it because
I'm not going to read them
Pages
all.
and pages, yeah.
I'm not going to read them all, but this thing was nominated for. This was the Titanic of its time when it came to the Academy Awards. It was nominated for 13 Academy Awards, including every major award. It won 8, including Best Picture, Best Director. It won Best Supporting Actor, Best Supporting Actress, Best Screenplay. And the ones it didn't win, they were nominated for, like actors and actresses and just score and costume design, all of those things. It was nominated for 13 awards. It won 8. That doesn't include the 2 Golden Globe Awards, the 2 Golden Screen Awards, different film critics across the land, different award ceremonies across the world. It won so many. It was nominated for an award at the Cannes Film Festival, just Writers Guild of America. It got best written drama. Just award after award after award. This might be one of the biggest award-winning movies we've ever covered.
All right, Bond, I'm going to throw this little piece of trivia because it's in my notes, and I didn't know if you were going to say it. But this is only one of 9 films to receive more than 1 Academy Award nomination for Best Actor. In this instance, Montgomery Clift and Burt Lancaster were both nominated. Do you know any of the other 8 films?
If I had to guess, let me put my thinking cap on. What about Rain Man?
No.
That's
These are all. Most of them are the 84 and below. 80s. You want to take a wild stab in there?
Oh, I would have guessed like Gone with the Wind.
No. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start giving these to you, and you let me know if you have ever seen these movies. First one.
Oh, wait. Let me guess. Another one. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
No.
Ah!
Mutiny on the Bounty in 1935, for which Clark Gable, Charles Lofton, and Franco Tone were all nominated. So that had 3 of them all nominated. You guys ever seen that 1935 version?
There was probably like 4 movies that came out that year.
So no, you haven't. What about this giant of a movie? Giant from 1956, for which Rock Hudson and James Dean were nominated.
That's right.
It's a great movie. Bond, you ever seen Giant?
I have. Yeah, it's a good one.
Judgment at Nuremberg, 1961, for which Maximilian Schell and Spencer Tracy were nominated. Beckett in 1964, for which Peter O'Toole and Richard Burton were nominated.
Nope.
Sleuth in 1972, for which Laurence Olivier and Michael Caine were nominated. We might have to cover that one because that sounds fantastic with them 2 actors. Network in 1976, for which Peter Finch and William Holden were nominated. The Dresser in 1983, for which Tom Courtenay and Albert Finney were nominated. And last but not least, Amadeus in 1984, for which F. Murray Abraham and Tom Hulse were nominated. Of the actors in question, only Schell, Finch posthumously, and Abram won the Academy Award for Best Actor for relevant performances. So this movie did something that only 8 other films had done at the time. So I thought that was pretty interesting too.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah.
All right, 80s. Do you have a plot summary or a roll call, a outline of the movie?
Okay, well, let's start with the storyline. It's 1941. Robert E. Lee Pruitt has requested Army transfer and has ended up at Schoefield in Hawaii. His new captain, Dana Holmes, has heard of his boxing prowess and is keen to get him to represent the company. However, Prue is adamant that he doesn't box anymore, and that becomes apparent later on in the movie why he doesn't want to box. So Captain Holmes gets his subordinate to make his life a living hell. Meanwhile, Sergeant Warden starts seeing the captain's wife. Oh boy. who has a history of seeking external relief from a troubled marriage. Prue's friend Maggio has a few altercations with the sadistic stockade sergeant Fatso Judson, and Prue begins falling in love with a social club employee named Lorraine, which her real name is Alma, I think, but she goes by Lorraine. And social club employee, boy, that's putting a really fine line on it. Like
a prostitute. Okay, let's just call her what she is.
right. And we'll get into some of the trivia why, back in the day, you couldn't come out and call her a prostitute. They wanted to lightly place another job title on it because they couldn't just come out with it with the censorship and everything that was going on. Anyway, unbeknownst to anyone, the Japanese bombing of Pearl Harbor looms in the distance. And that's like, sorry, I'm going off on a tangent already. That's the cool thing, that all of these events are happening inside, the big circle is Pearl Harbor, and then these love triangles, if you will, are all these storylines are happening inside one of the biggest events in human history, which is what really makes the movie cool for me.
I love that idea in that one because it's kind of like in Titanic. You watch Titanic knowing the boat's going to sink.
Yeah.
But you get so involved with the characters that you kind of forget until it happens.
Right.
That's why this one, when they introduce it as we're in Hawaii. It's 1941. So, going in, oh no, this is not going to end well. But you get so wrapped up in the storyline, you forget until it happens. And you're like, oh no, that's right.
Well, it never even crossed my mind until I think it's when Burt Lancaster goes, sees the sergeant's wife or whatever, and there's a calendar on the wall that says like December 6th or something, or December 5th, 1941. And I said, uh-oh. I was like, and the Pearl Harbor scene, it's probably only the last 10 minutes of the movie, if that.
Sure.
So this story that you have been invested in for an hour, probably an hour and 5 minutes, all comes to a head in those 10 minutes. And it's just fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the trivia because there is a lot of it. And we'll talk about different scenes as we go through here. I'm sure you guys can tell me what you liked, you didn't like. Montgomery Clift, he basically threw himself into the character of Pruitt. He learned how to play the bugle, even though he would be dubbed.
Yeah.
And he took boxing lessons. I mean, you talk about getting into character, man. I don't know if I'd take boxing lessons just for a movie role, especially if I'm not going to have to box, Fred Zinnemann said, Clift forced the other actors to be much more better than they really were. The only way I can put it, he got performances from the other actors. He got reactions from the other actors that were totally genuine. So you hear about actors getting into the role, the character. And when I started researching some of this stuff, I think this is where I said, okay, I think I like Robert E. Lee Pruitt better than Burt Lancaster in this movie. When you remember the scene where Burt Lancaster and Montgomery Clift are playing drunk, sitting in the street, talking about, hey, get out of the road or whatever. Clift was actually drunk, but Lancaster was not. So he was actually drunk. I don't know how they do it. How do they act and do this fantastic scene and get the lines down that they wanted, or was it just all improvised? I don't know, but I thought that was very interesting. And of course, Bond's favorite, Frank Sinatra, had personal problems of his own. The collapse of his marriage to Ava Gardner weighed heavily on him. It got so bad, he announced to Montgomery Clift one night that he was going to kill himself.
Wow.
So, I mean, doing all that, being in a movie and having that on top of your mental state, it probably had to take its toll on the poor guy.
Yeah.
But it comes through in the character.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why.
I don't know if it's in your notes or not, but I think Cliff and Sinatra were close. And I guess Cliff later in his life had a problem with alcoholism and stuff.
And he came to the party?
Yeah, he came to the party and got thrown out because he was just, it was kind of really a sad ending to his life. But,
it's in here somewhere. The classic scene between Burt Lancaster and Deborah Kerr with the rushing water on the beach. It was not even written to take place there. The ideal to film with the waves hitting them was a last-minute inspiration from director Fred Zinnemann. So one of the most classic, iconic scenes that you know of this movie almost didn't even make it.
Wow.
Montgomery Clift, Frank Sinatra, and author James Jones were very close during filming, frequently embarking on monumental drinking binges. Clift coached Sinatra on how to play Maggio during their more sober moments, for which Sinatra was eternally grateful. So that's what I like about Montgomery Clift, too. He's not only getting into character himself, but he's also helped coaching Frank Sinatra and all these other characters to be best that they could be. And that's just something you don't see. There's an urban myth associated with this casting of Frank Sinatra, though. It was that the Mafia made Columbia Pictures an offer they couldn't refuse. This, of course, was fictionalized in Mario Puzo's novel, The Godfather, and his subsequent film adaptation. The real reason for Sinatra's casting was mainly his then wife, Ava Gardner, who was shooting a film for Columbia head Harry Cohn, and suggested to him that he use Sinatra. Although initially reluctant, Cohn eventually saw this as being a good idea, as Sinatra's stock was so low at the time that he would sign for a very low salary. Sinatra had been lobbying hard for the role, even suggesting he would do it for nothing, but he was eventually hired for the token amount of $8,000.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you got to figure, like, how do they get all those huge names and with that type of budget? Like, that's crazy.
Fred Zinnemann was not keen on the casting of Donna Reed as Lorraine and had Julie Harris in mind for the role. However, as he had bucked Columbia head Harry Cohn over casting Montgomery Clift, Frank Sinatra, and Deborah Kerr, he felt he had no right to insist on putting another actress in the part. Much to his surprise, Reed surpassed all of his expectations. The scene in which Maggio meets Prue and Lorraine in the bar after he walks off guard duty was actually Frank Sinatra's screen test to get the part of Maggio. To impress director Fred Zinnemann, he did an ad-lib using olives as dice and pretending to shoot craps. The entire sequence was kept as in and used in the picture. Do you remember when he goes up to the thing and he rolls the olives on?
Yeah, he rolls the olives.
Bar? I was like, what is going on here? Deborah Kerr and Burt Lancaster, they were romantically linked during the filming too. So that might be some real on-screen chemistry you're seeing there too.
Yeah.
Harry Cohn resisted the idea of casting Montgomery Clift as Pruitt, as he was no soldier, no boxer, and probably a homosexual. Quote, Fred Zinnemann refused to make the film without him. So the director insisted, this is who I want. At the time of the original novel's release, it was dubbed From Here to Obscenity because of its frank content and profane language. The book was banned in libraries across the U.S. for years. Have you either of you ever read it?
No, but I think I'd like to. I think
it sounds fantastic.
I heard you wouldn't like it, Jimbo, though, because I read somewhere, I think it's like filled with like foul language.
Well, yeah, it's that, and it's got some homosexual tense stuff in there and all that too.
Well, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
James Jones, who wrote the novel on which this film was based, was not happy with this film, considering it to be too sanitized. So he's like, "Look, guys, this ain't what my
too clean.
It's too clean for me."
Yeah.
The MPAA banned photos of the famous Burt Lancaster Deborah Kerr passionate kiss on the beach for being too erotic. Many prints had shortened versions of the scene because projectionists would cut out frames to keep as souvenirs. Can you imagine finding one of those prints?
So you have this one little film and you're holding it up to the light.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that'd be cool to have. I ain't gonna lie. In the book, Karen Holmes reveals that the reason why she can't have children was because her adulterous husband infected her with gonorrhea, which led her to having to have a hysterectomy. Naturally, this was far too racy for 1953 film censors, so it had to be toned down.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, let's keep the gonorrhea out of the movie, please.
And yes, it is tied with Gone with the Wind for the most Oscars won by a single film up to that point in time with 8. And by the way, I don't think Bob mentioned this, but George Reeves was in Gone with the Wind too, as one of Scarlett's boys at the beginning. Burt Lancaster was so nervous about acting alongside Montgomery Clift that he was physically shaking in their first scene together. The censors demanded that Deborah Kerr's swimsuit should feature a skirt in its design so as to not be too sexually provocative. And I hear Bond going, boo.
Boo.
Yeah, here it is. It was shot in a mere 41 days and for only $1 million. 41 days to hit this out of the park, dude. That is just insane.
It really is.
It's ridiculous. The James Jones novel was a bestseller when it was released. Ernest Borgnine always bragged to his friends that if they ever made a film of this book, he'd play a part. Shortly after saying this, he was actually called to audition for the film where he played Fatso Judson. Censorship at the time meant that Donna Reed's character was never referenced to as a prostitute, but as a nightclub hostess. Fred Zinnemann insisted on filming in black and white as he felt that color would have made it look too trivial. He also eschewed the use of any of the popular new widescreen ratios. So the director knew what he wanted, and that's what he got. Do you think it would have looked cool in color?
Have they remastered it though?
I don't think so. Not that I know of. Okay. I mean, it might be in 4K, but I don't know if it's in color.
Yeah. I did think it was odd that they filmed it in 1953 in black and white because colored film was pretty popular and available at the time.
Especially that Technicolor, like from The Wizard of Oz and Ben-Hur and all that. So James Jones may have not liked the movie, but guess what? He sold an extra 2 million copies of his book off the back of this film's success. So take it what it is. Yeah, he'll be all right.
But imagine how shocked the readers were.
Oh, yeah. So Frank Sinatra credited Burt Lancaster and Montgomery Clift with helping him find his feet dramatically for this film. Prior to this, most of Sinatra's film engagements have been comedic roles or in musicals. But by working alongside such heavyweight actors, Sinatra was able to hone his craft in new directions. Indeed, he and Lancaster remained friends for the rest of their lives. Sadly, the relationship with Clift was not so long-lasting. 3 years after From Here to Eternity, Clift was involved in a life-altering car crash that required facial reconstruction and left him addicted to pain medication. This, coupled with his alcoholism, made him a very different person from the actor who played Pruitt. At a party thrown by Sinatra, this is what Eric was referencing earlier, Clift made a drunken pass at one of the singer's entourage that ended up with him being thrown out of the party and denied access to Sinatra in his inner circle.
I mean, he's just replaying his movie role, right? He's just making a pass at one of the...
Living the part.
Yeah, but it's one of Sinatra's entourage, not just a person there. Legendary actress Joan Crawford was originally meant to play Karen Holmes, but when she insisted on shooting the film with her own cameraman, the studio balked. They decided to take a chance and cast Deborah Kerr. Can you say, oh, yeah, I'll do it, but I'll have Bond come film it for me? What?
I mean, it's Joan Crawford, though. I think she could have worked in the role.
Oh, yeah. Can you imagine her and Betty Davis as the two main girls? Oh, that'd be crazy.
Yeah. It worked out.
Oh, this film helped popularize the Aloha shirts like Bond likes to wear down there in Texas.
My Hawaiian shirts.
The U.S. Army was initially reluctant to lend their cooperation to the production. Producer Buddy Adler had been a lieutenant colonel in the Signal Corps during World War II and was able to bring his influence to bear. So, distilling 950 pages. That novel is 950 pages. Eric will never make it through that much with no pictures.
Okay, I'm out.
Into a 2-hour film was a formidable challenge for screenwriter Daniel Teradash. The novel is also quite sexually explicit for its time and full of swear words. James Jones apparently swore like a trooper in real life and was very fond of frequenting brothels. So.
Okay, I'm back in.
Burt Lancaster's anxiety manifested itself in a pattern of difficult behavior, nitpicking over his lines, the camera angles, and his appearance. So it doesn't sound like he's very fun to work with. During breaks in filming, he would go off by himself to jog or do push-ups. He argued so much with the normally even-tempered Fred Zinnemann, he finally provoked the director into telling him to go screw himself. Dubbed Cohn's Folly because many thought the novel was too long and too adult to be filmed, Harry Cohn paid $82,000 for the rights. That's still a chunk of money. So not only did he get the rights to make the movie, he got $82,000. He also sold an extra 2 million copies of his novel. The guy's making bank.
Yeah, he's doing really well.
A false rumor has been circulating for years that George Reeves, who played Sergeant Maitland Stark, had his role drastically edited after preview audiences recognized him as TV's Adventures of Superman. According to director Fred Zinnemann, screenwriter Daniel Teradash, and assistant director Earl Bellamy, the rumor is completely false. Every scene written for Reeves' character was filmed, and each of those scenes is still present in its entirety in the film as released. So it's just one of those rumors that they said, oh, well, George Reeves is there. We're going to, his popularity, We can put some more scenes in there, so that's totally false. The U.S. Army had a censorship stipulation that there should be no depictions of military sloppiness, hypocrisy, homosexuality, or brutality. Naturally, they were less than thrilled by James Jones's novel and weren't particularly enamored by the film version either, so had to keep that image. Although Deborah Kerr was Oscar nominated in the Best Actress category and Donna Reed was Oscar nominated in the Best Supporting Actress category, the running times for each of their performances are practically the same. So one got for Best Actress, one got for Best Supporting Actress. I think Bond said neither one of them won, if I remember.
Well, I think she went for Best Supporting Actress.
Oh, did she?
Yeah. Yeah, Best Supporting Actress, Donna Reed won.
Okay. When the film was released, the demand was so great that the Capitol Theater in New York City remained open around the clock. It was closed briefly in the early morning so that the janitors could sweep the floor. I mean, you're talking about massive hit, dude.
That's crazy, man.
Better have got the all-you-can-eat, huh? Montgomery Clift didn't manage to move like a boxer despite extensive boxing lessons, so he had to be doubled by a real boxer for the long shots in the boxing match. The fight had to be carefully edited so the close-ups and other shots matched satisfactorily. Nonetheless, the use of a double is obvious if you pay attention to the details.
Yeah, that's the low point in the movie.
Let me ask you a question. Did you guys think that he was actually going to go box for him at any point during this movie? You think he's going to be pushed to the limit and he's going to go boxing? Did he either?
I thought at some point he was going to have to. Like he wouldn't want to, but he'd have to.
I thought it was going to be when Fatso started picking on Frank Sinatra. I thought this is going to be it.
Yeah, I thought that's when he was going to start boxing.
This is going to be he killed him, and it is yeah.
It reminded me a lot of Cool Hand Luke. Like,
yeah.
Exactly.
How what, Bond?
I was going to say, how great were the scenes that they would punish Pruitt during the training and during all the lessons? It's like, dig that hole and
fill it back up.
Fill it back up and, take this, take this bike up the hill or something. And so it was just his punishments throughout the movie were
just because he wouldn't box.
He would just take him. Yeah, he would just take it. And he's like doing dishes and stuff. And they're like, all because he wouldn't box. And so I just love every time he was getting punished for something. It was fun.
And the boxer dumping that big bucket of spit water.
Yeah. Spit water twice.
Yeah. Montgomery Clift had real difficulty letting the character Pruitt go after filming and was completed, and would often turn up drunk in Hollywood drinking establishments with his bugle and Hawaiian shirts. So he stayed in character, man.
That would have been fun.
Fred Zinnemann later said that one of his biggest challenges on the picture was getting the best performance from both Montgomery Clift and Frank Sinatra in the same take. So I guess one was good at one time, then one was better than the other one. Of all the battles Fred Zinnemann had to fight with the Columbia front office, the one he was proudest of winning was against the boys in New York, the sales department. The marketing people thought the film would gross at least an extra $1 million if it were shot in color, but Zinnemann was able to persuade Harry Cohn that black and white was more suitable for the film's stark, gritty themes and that color would have softened and trivialized it. So he didn't want it in color.
I think another thing that adds to the fact that it's in black and white is the fact that the movie takes place in 1941. And so when Pearl Harbor actually happens and you see the planes flying over, I think that has a bigger impact in black and white.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, if you think about all the video footage you see
is in black and white, yeah.
It's in black and white, all the footage you see. So when you watch this movie, it makes sense that it's in black and white because then it just looks like part of that day,
But they did go back and recolorize some of that old footage too. But I was thinking that might have been real stock footage that they were using.
That's what I thought too.
I thought it was. I couldn't find any
footage, yeah.
Couldn't find anything about that though. At the new Congress Club, as Eric likes to call it, Pruitt sits in a distinctive wicker chair with a wide oval back. Remember when he sits down and he's in that big wicker chair? Mm. Yes, you've probably seen that chair before because it shows up 11 years later as Morticia's favorite seat in the Addams Family TV show. In the bar scene where Maggio asked Pruitt for a cigarette, he says, "Give me a knell." A knell was a knell for his coffin. This was a common expression popular at the time that referred to the health hazards from smoking. As scripted, Deborah Kerr and Burt Lancaster's classic clinch on the beach was to be filmed standing up. It was Lancaster's ideal to do it horizontally in the surf. The scene was filmed at Halona Cove on the eastern side of Oahu near Coco Head Crater and Sandy Beach, and the location became a major tourist attraction for years after. I'd love to go see it.
I don't know, man. It would be nice to see, but you know, when you go there, it's just filled with tourists rolling around the sand.
Me and Bond's going to reenact. Me and Bond's going to reenact it on location.
Wait for the tide to come in.
A nationwide search of Army surplus stores yielded pre-Pearl Harbor style Springfield rifles, canvas leggings, campaign hats, and flat steel helmets. The extras, who were all real soldiers, were all drilled to learn how to use all this outdated equipment. So that's pretty cool that they actually gave some of the soldiers parts in the movie. The Defense Department at one point asked that the title be changed so as to disassociate it from the scandalous book. Naturally, Columbia refused. This film went on to gross $18 million, the 10th highest grossing film of the 1950s. Many felt that Burt Lancaster and Montgomery Clift canceled each other out of the Academy Awards, which gave a clear way for William Holden to step in and win the Oscar for his performance in Stalag 17. I don't know if you guys saw this on my Vudu, but I just bought a collection of William Holden movies. I think there's 10 of them in there. Burt Lancaster was so nervous when he started the film. He was especially intimidated by Montgomery Clift's skill and intensity, so I don't know why Burt Lancaster was nervous, but he was bigger than Pruitt by a lot.
He came across as like a man's man in that movie. You know what I'm saying? Just that one of my favorite scenes is at the very beginning where he goes over to her house, house to like have him sign the paperwork, and it's like raining and stuff. He comes in. He's like a man's man coming in there. You know what I'm saying? I was like, woo.
You going to invite me in? Exactly. It's all right. I got copies at the office.
Yeah. Oh, that whole scene.
But dude, that Sarge's wife, she was probably a bigger slut than the prostitute was.
Oh yeah.
I mean, because he talks about, well, how many men have you been with?
Exactly.
So this,
Donna Reed, she was paid to, just talk to the soldiers and give them some attention. Yeah. About the dollar dances and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know where you guys are getting this prostitute thing from.
$2 a week to be in the club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this was shot on a schedule of just 42 days. I'm sorry, I misspoke earlier. The actual scene where the Japanese flyers fly over the Army base, strafing it with machine gun fire, you remember that? It was shot in only a half a day. So it wasn't even a day and a half. It was a half a day. I don't know how they get this
stuff. What's funny about that, too, is if you notice, there's only really one close-up shot of the airplane with the Japanese Zero, like on the side.
Mm-hmm.
One memorable shot where it's flying really low over the base.
And I was watching that. I think there's only one guy that gets killed there too. It's like when he's like, oh, he's running, and then if you see him come back in, they all just fall over, as he flies over. And then they all get up and start running. I was like, wow, that's kind of weird. He nailed the one guy that was running, but he can't hit 10 or 15 of these 200 guys running through this field now.
That's what they do. They all lay down until the plane goes over, and then they pop back up and make a run for it. Yeah.
Montgomery Clift told friends he thought Burt Lancaster was a terrible actor and a big bag of wind, an attitude perhaps fueled by his resentment over having to take second billing to Burt Lancaster. Robert Mitchum. Do you guys know who Robert Mitchum is?
Mm-hmm.
What did he play in Bond?
Famous detective show. I forgot the name.
Wasn't he in... I'm ready for my close-up now, Mr. Hollywood. Or what's it called?
Mr. DeVille.
What is that called? Sunset Boulevard. Was that him?
Sunset Boulevard.
Or was that William
I'm
Holden?
thinking...
I don't remember. But he wanted to play Sergeant Warden, but he was under contract at RKO, and studio head Howard Hughes wouldn't let him come, so boo-hoo on you.
Did Robert Mitchum play in the original Cape Fear? Was it the original Cape Fear?
Why don't ADZ look it up for us while we're...
I know.
He's probably already on it. To land the part of Maggio, Frank Sinatra had to audition for the role. Columbia head Harry Cohn refused to pay for a screen test, insisting that Sinatra foot the bill for it himself. Sinatra agreed and flew over to Hawaii from Africa, where he was with his then wife Ava Gardner on the set of Mogambo in 1953. He paid for his plane ticket from Africa to Hollywood.
Just
Or
to
Hawaii.
audition.
Sorry, Hawaii. Yeah, just audition. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Ace.
Bond was correct. He was the original Cape Fear in 1962. That would be Robert Mitchum.
Nice.
Was he in anything else?
Not really that I am familiar with. Maybe you guys would be familiar with. He won Best Supporting Actor for The Story of G.I. Joe, 1945. Out of the Past, 1947. Angel Face, 1953. River of No Return, 1954. The Night of the Hunter, 1955.
Night of the Hunter is a great
That's
movie.
a good one.
Is it?
So both Burt Lancaster and Montgomery Clift shaved their chests for their numerous shirtless scenes. I kind of get a feeling of who was those two guys in the Magnificent Seven, Yul Brynner and was it not Charlton Heston? Who Steve McQueen? I kind of get that little, because one of them would dig dirt so he'd be taller than the other guy, and I don't know.
Lifts in his shoe,
Yeah.
or something like that. Too.
Yeah, that's what I get from these two guys.
Oh, Burt Lancaster to me was built weird. Like in the, when he takes his shirt off, he's at the beach.
He looked like a professional wrestler, like Hulk Hogan or something.
Yeah, he had like that back of the comic book magazine build,
Kick sand in the face.
Are you getting tired of getting kicked around by, that big muscular guy? That's what he looked like.
Montgomery Clift's intensity extended to an obsessive drive to have every detail down right. He spent long hours of practice on military drills. He copied James Joyce's mannerisms and speech patterns. He insisted on playing his bugle loudly and repeatedly, even though he was dubbed, so that he would accurately appear to be playing it on screen. Fred Zinnemann's wife, Renee, said, quote, "He worked so hard at all of this that he was almost worn out by the time they started shooting."
Wow.
Committed, man.
Yeah.
Committed to his role.
But I love that scene. I love that scene where he's marching and they're having him turn around back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I love that scene.
I like the tap scene, too.
Yeah, that was going to say when he goes out there and plays
that was a good one,
That was
Although
sad,
I thought it was going to end after the first rendition of Taps, but he played the second verse, and I was like, oh, that's kind of long.
Columbia bought the rights to James Jones' bestseller for only $82,000, as we said, a relatively low figure, mainly because no other studio was prepared to go near such adult material. The book has some homosexual scenes, none of which made it to the film version. Also, the book ran to over 800 pages. It was generally considered unfilmable. But I think it turned out great. In one scene where Montgomery Clift had to play drunk, he was far too intoxicated to pull it off. So, Eli Wallach, you know who that is, right?
I do
know. Who's Eli Wallach?
You got to be kidding me.
I'm looking it up.
Refresh our memory.
Yeah, tell us.
He was the guy that played in, it might have been the Magnificent Seven. He was the Indian guy that, I say Indian guy, the Mexican guy that was the head of one of those shows we covered. I want to say
he was in the Magnificent Seven, 1961. You're correct.
Thank you. He was in a couple of other things too.
He was also in The Godfather Part 3.
Yep. He accepted the role of Angelo Maggio, so he actually accepted the Frank Sinatra part, but then turned it down because he had agreed to appear in Elia Kazan's Broadway production of Tennessee Williams' Camino Real. He denied that the Mafia had anything to do with his leaving in replacement, with Frank Sinatra explaining, quote, "I'd promised to do Tennessee's play Camino Real, but they couldn't get the money together. So I auditioned from here to eternity and I got the job, but then they found the money for the play, so I pulled out. If you're in love with two women at the same time, you've got to choose." This was the second biggest grossing film of that year, of this year in 1953, behind what? Do you know?
I have no idea, man. What was it?
Eric, do you know?
1953, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Rebel Without a Cause came out a couple years later. I don't know.
The Robe.
Never seen it.
You've never seen The Robe? Bond, have you seen The Robe?
No. Is it about somebody who just gets out of the tub or what?
It's about
Looking
Jesus?
it up right now.
You've never seen The Robe?
No, I've never seen that one.
At the time, this was Columbia's biggest grossing film. Here you go, Bond. Shelley Winters turned down the role of Alma as she had just given birth to her daughter, Vittoria Gassman. So we could have had Shelley Winters in this and
Shelley Winters,
Poseidon
yeah.
Adventure.
Yeah, it could have been another movie she had with Ernest Borgnine.
Yep. Was remade into a TV movie in 1979 as a pilot for a series. The stars were William Devane as Warden, Natalie Wood as Karen, Steve Railsback as Pruitt, and Roy Thins as Holmes. The pilot follows the 1953 version very closely, except for two scenes. One was the beach scene where Wood has a nude scene, shown only in overseas theaters, and Holmes is not forced to resign as Thins became a regular on the show. So, has either of you ever seen?
How would that be a television? I don't understand how this becomes a television show.
It was a pilot for it, so I don't know. Unless
was Natalie Wood in 1953, like she would have been a teenager, right?
I don't. When was Miracle on 34th Street?
In Rebel Without a Cause, she was like a teenager.
She was the little girl in Miracle on 34th Street too, right?
Right.
What year was that?
I don't know. Hang on.
That was old.
Good thing Google Eyes Eric's over there.
Internet machine.
The beach was used many years later for a love scene with Henry and Lucy in 50 First Dates. If you've ever seen that in 2004.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's a good one.
This also says Joan Crawford turned down the role in the film because she hated the costumes.
Yeah.
Oh, here you go. How about this? Ronald Reagan and Walter Matthau were among the actors considered for the role of Sergeant Warden, which ultimately went to Burt Lancaster. Matthau later made his film debut in The Kentuckian, directed by Lancaster. Would you have liked to see old Ronald Reagan or Walter Matthau?
I can see Ronald Reagan in the part, even though he was used to playing like comedies and stuff back then. But I could see Ronald Reagan in the part. I cannot see Walter Matthau as the romantic, manly lead.
I could probably see Ronald Reagan more as Pruitt, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would work too.
But I don't know. Matthau wasn't always a comedy guy, though, so he might have been able to do it. Eric, did you find your information?
Yeah, so Natalie Wood was born in 1938. So the made-for-TV movie, I was unclear on when that.
I think that came out in 1990.
In 1979.
1979.
Sorry, in 1953, when the original movie came out, she would have only been 15. So that doesn't work. So
79 is when the TV series.
79. So there you go. She would have been of age then.
Yes. The fictional club in this screenplay, the New Congress Club, is a variation of the name of a real pre-war brothel, the New Senator Hotel on Hotel Street in the Red Light District. At the corner of Hotel Street at number 115 was Wofat's Bar, where sailors could get a snotful of cheap booze before their initiation by one of the prostitutes. The cost of said prose was $3 and lasted less than 5 minutes. Prostitution was regulated and promoted by the civil and military authorities, so stated Seaman Second Class Ori Waller, 1922 to 1993, in his memoirs.
$3
for 5 minutes.
Were you allowed to tip?
Mickey Shaughnessy, who played the always snacking Sergeant Leavitt, he's the guy that's always eating and talking. What I'm talking about? That's probably who I would be in this movie. He would go on to appear with Elvis Presley in the 1957 film Jailhouse Rock. Both he and Presley served in the Army, but at different times and played soldiers on film in different movies, and both were filmed in Hawaii separately. The movie grossed at least $30.5 million and earned profits of at least $12.2 million. Eli Wallach seemed set for the part of Mangio, but Frank said he'd do it for $1,000 a week. His previous fee had been about $150,000, so he's like, hey, let me negotiate this. Shooting in Honolulu, Frank Montgomery and James Jones went drinking most nights, and Burt Lancaster usually had to carry them to their rooms. That's why he looks funny. He had to carry them both.
So he's...
Here you go. Are you ready for this? This might be the best trivia I found. Sinatra went home after the Oscar ceremony, then went walking carrying his Oscar and was stopped by the police who thought he'd stolen it. Montgomery Clift had a bad car crash while filming Raintree County, and that left him addicted to painkillers, as we said earlier, resulting in him never having a role of much substance except in Judgment at Nuremberg, for which he was Oscar nominated. We already talked about Joan Crawford. Ava Gardner, who was then married to Sinatra, spoke to Columbia boss Harry Cohn's wife, and between them convinced the reluctant Harry to screen test Frank, who agreed to do the film for $8,000. The James Jones novel was deemed unfilmable for a long time because of its negative portrayal of the U.S. Army. So they were like, and the profanity in it. To get the Army support and pass the censorship of the time, crucial details had to be changed. The brothel became a nightclub. The whores, hostesses. The profanity was removed. The brutal treatment in the stockade toned down. And Captain Holmes discharged from the Army instead of promoted at the end.
So do you think that this movie has a negative or a positive image of the Army?
I say positive overall.
Overall, probably.
Because when it got
they became brothers.
Got down to business, they defended their
country, yeah. And each other. I like the one guy's like, you're not getting in the artillery without orders from whoever. He's like, guys, get him out of here. The soundtrack of Maggio's death scene was used by Frank Sinatra as the last cut for the first record of his double vinyl release of Sinatra, A Man and His Music. The album was inspired by a 1965 hour-long TV special of the same name, Frank Sinatra, A Man and His Music, broadcast to coincide with the singer's 50th birthday. And last, but certainly not least, the end of the film leaves some speculation room about what happened to Holmes. With the advent of World War II so close to his discharge, would he have been called back to service?
No.
If not, is he on the ship with his wife sailing back to the mainland? Or have they completely separated? Or did he die in the attack somehow?
I just assumed he died in the attack.
Because what did they say when the two girls are on there? They say if you throw this wreath overboard and it goes towards the shore, if it goes towards the shore, you're going to be coming back here. Ain't that something like they said?
Yeah.
And then if it goes out to sea, it was never meant to be, or I don't know, something like that.
I think I just assumed that he died during the attack.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty safe assumption.
Which one was that? Was that the guy that her husband, right?
Karen's
Karen's husband.
Weren't they going to court-martial him and take him to somewhere for so long?
Well, there was that scene where a court-martial or an officer above him banished him, right?
Right, for
down and stuff.
Right.
But I don't know where he was. I don't remember where he was going. I don't know if the movie even says where he was going to be commissioned.
Was he going to the stockades?
No, I think so.
I don't think they put him in the stockades like Maggio, but I could be wrong. I don't know.
All right, so I'm gonna let's let ADZ go since he's our special guest tonight. Then I'll let Bond go. Then I'll close it with my ratings, reviews, thoughts, feelings, prop pieces.
Okay, so I got a question for you guys. Why do you think Lancaster, aka Milton Warden, why do you think he never took his officer commissioning test? Why didn't he sign the paper? He could have had the woman. He could have had the position. He could have had the clout. I know the movie kind of plays out that he was an on the ground. He was a warrior, right? And it ends up at the end of the movie. But like all he had to do, I wonder that kept ringing in my head. Like, I wonder what prevented him from just signing the papers and everything would have worked out in his favor, right?
I think he was just disgusted by the officers that he knew.
Yeah.
Like he really respected the privates. He really respected the soldiers that went out there, boots on the ground type guys. But every officer and every high ranking official he knew was a disappointment or an embarrassment to the Army. So he's like, I don't want to be associated with those guys. I'd rather be associated with the guys that are actually doing the work.
Well, didn't he
That's
also,
kind of the vibe I got.
Didn't he also say like, she's like, well, we could go back to the States and we could be married and you just got to come with me or whatever. And he's like, look, I'm here to serve. He's like, I didn't sign the papers. He's like, I don't want to be an officer. I'm here to do my job here. I don't want to become an officer. He's like, basically, I like what I do and you're not worth it. That's what I got from it.
That's the cold, hard truth was that she wasn't worth it to him. And to Bond's point, I think he had such disrespect for Captain Holmes, his direct superior. He did all the work, right? He did all the paperwork.
He made all the
He
decisions.
ran everything while that guy was out carousing and taking women to lunch and cheating on his wife.
No, I have a question with that. The one scene where they go to like the other side of the state
The restaurant, yeah.
Yeah, and was that her husband that walked in with the girl? And he's like, "Don't look,
Yeah.
don't look." And they went.
Yeah, he's like, "Don't look," and then like sneak out.
Yeah, okay.
They had to slip out. So, all right. Well, I was just curious what your guys' thoughts were as far as it was pertaining to that question, because for whatever the reason, like he just could not get over that hurdle, even if it meant starting a new life with his girlfriend or whatever. My review is just From Here to Eternity it's movie making at its finest. It's a masterclass in storytelling, direction, and emotional depth. It obviously captures the tension and humanity of the Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. I think Deborah Kerr and Donna Reed are striking in their contrast. One is elegant and one is restrained. The other is warm and heartfelt. It evoked like a Ginger and Marianne dichotomy. Like Deborah Kerr was this beautiful movie star type woman who was the wife of the captain, and Donna Reed is like the Marianne of, she's just a sweet, lovely, adorable lady. I just think it's amazing how the story, how quickly they shot the movie, and the budget just blows my mind. And I guess it's a question up for debate. Frank Sinatra, I think he delivers a memorable, gritty performance as Maggio, though I'm not so sure that it deserved an Oscar. I mean, I looked at some of the movies that were up that year, and I think it was just kind of a lean year. Let me see if I got that right here. So in the Best Actor or the Best Supporting Actor category, you had Eddie Albert from Roman Holiday, which I don't know if you've seen Roman Holiday, but he was like the friend he was like a photographer in that movie. Brandon DeWild of the movie Shane, which I think that's a cowboy movie, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shane. And then Jack Palance was on that list, and he was in Shane as well. And then Robert Strauss of Stalag 17, and then you got Frank Sinatra at number 5. So I don't know. I wasn't super impressed with Frank Sinatra's. I don't know that it's Oscar worthy, I guess. That would be my only mark against it. But overall, Here to Eternity remains a shining example of a classic Hollywood drama. It's most passionate and enduring. I think it's great. I think it's underscored. I always go to the IMDb. It's underscored at like 7.5. It's at least an 8.5, maybe pushing even higher. I liked it a lot. So there you go. That's
what's your prop piece going to be?
Oh, prop piece. Come back to me on that.
All right, Bond.
I always forget those.
All right, so AFI says top 100 movies in the last 100 years. This movie ranks number 52, which I thought was kind of low. This movie is well acted. Even before I knew about the trivia of the amount of time it took to film it, and the budget was incredibly low for the amount of the quality you get from this movie. Iconic roles. I think if you go back and you watch every single actor and actress in the main roles, it just blows you away. Every scene in this movie is great. There's not a downtime where I'm watching this movie going, okay, come on, let's just move the plot along. Let's just move this movie along. No, every scene's great. I love the boxing scenes. I love the army scenes where he's training, where he's getting punished. They're punishing him on purpose, so he'll box. The romantic scenes are great. And so it's a good mixture of a man's movie and a woman's movie, if you will, where the men are going to watch this movie for the adventure, the army, the boxing, the fights, the drunkenness. The women are going to watch it for the romance and the language. I think that it's a perfect mix, and it's hard to get that mix. You get that mix in movies like Top Gun, in movies like Titanic, those kind of movies where you have that perfect mix of this is a movie for a man and a woman. Both of them would get something out of it and love this movie. That being said, I'm giving this movie a 9. It's right up there. I can't think of anything really wrong with it. I don't know why it doesn't, rank higher for me, but I'm gonna have to give it a 9 on this one. My prop piece. Can I get 2 olives that double as dice? I think I would like that.
All right. So for me, when you go into a movie blind, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't even know it was a war movie. I thought this is probably going to be some sappy romance thing that I'm not going to care about, but it's in the top 100 movies of all time. So we're giving it a shot, right, Bob? We're saying we're going to give it a shot.
Sure. That's
it's
exactly
iconic scene. But I was completely wrong, man. I was enthralled with this movie from the moment it started till the very end scene. It had me in my emotions at the end when you see the torture that Frank Sinatra's Maggio goes through when he goes to the Stalag, when Fatso and him are getting ready to fight at the bar, and you see Burt Lancaster step up and he ends up taking the knife away from him and all that. We didn't even touch on the scene where
Alley knife fight, yeah.
Right. Once they know that Fatso basically killed him, and they tell Pruitt, hey, Fatso basically killed him, tortured him to death. And he actually comes back stumbling and all that, and he dies. Remember, he's like, I didn't let him win. I made it back and all that. And then you see him play the bugles, and he's got those tears just coming down his face. It's a powerful moment, man, because he loved that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then what does he do? He goes back to that bar scene, and the bar, and he says, "Hey, Fatso, let's step outside." And they go out to the alley. He said, "Let's go talk in the alley where we can talk private." And while they do, Fatso pulls out a knife, and Pruitt pulls out the knife that he pulled on Maggio. He said, "You see this knife?" He said, "I took it the night that you were going to try to kill my friend." And they start fighting, and I think they do a good job here where they start fighting, and then they basically do they fall behind like a barrel of trash. You don't know what's going on, and you see Fatso get up, right? And you're like, oh no, man, Fatso just won this. And you see him stumble back, and he's got like the blood leaking from his thing. We didn't even talk about how Pruitt gets stabbed there too. He goes back to Donna Reed's house, and he's recuperating. I mean, he's got the blood-soaked shirt. He passes out on the floor. Barely alive. I mean, and, you know, she's trying to bandage him up. He takes off his shirt and all that, and he's there recuperating. And what happens? He hears on the radio, hey, we're being attacked. What's he do? She's like, don't go. Please don't go. You're not, he'll just stay here. You can stay here with us. They won't have to know. We can go away to America. He said, it's my duty. And what's he do? He puts his uniform on. And the guy, he's been missing for 8 days or something like that, right? He stumbles, he's stumbling over to the base, right? He's dodging the army patrols. And what happens is they see him, sometimes he sees him running across, hey, you stop. And he runs and he dives. And next thing you know, he opens fire and they shoot Pruitt and kill one of their own soldiers. That friendly right there fire took my heart, ripped it out, and then who comes along? Burt Lancaster comes along, and what's he do? He takes the little bugle thing out of his thing, his little mouthpiece.
The mouthpiece, yeah.
Tore me to pieces, dude. I'm like, this movie shouldn't be as good as it is, and here I am invested into this, and then look what's going on. This guy is coming back. He took the guy's life that took his friend's life, first and foremost. He got injured during it. Then to get killed by your own people because they thought he was probably a Japanese because they were on patrol looking for the Japanese who had just attacked Pearl Harbor. And then to see the two ladies on the ship at the end, both of them grieving, but for different things. We know Pruitt has died because she has the bugle. So that means Burt Lancaster's character has given her that bugle at some point. The other lady, Deborah Kerr, I don't know if she's sad that her husband died, if he's going to jail, wherever he's going, or it's the fact that Burt Lancaster's character is not coming with her. So she's tore up for a totally different reason, and they both throw those ladies in the water, and it ends. And by then, you know, the credits roll, and you just sit there and you think, what did I just watch? What happened? I was totally enthralled with this movie from start to finish. I've only done this a couple of times on this podcast, but I think this is a perfect movie. I think the acting is superb. They draw you in to parallel stories. They keep you entertained. Bond said there's not a wasted scene. There's not. Even two guys drunk in the middle of the road has a purpose. Okay. They're like sitting there, well, we're going to get run over or whatever. We didn't even talk about the guy that's playing the guy that there's, what's that song they're singing? The one guy singing.
When they're in the barracks and everything.
Well, there's one in the barracks and there's one where they're like outside at that bar or whatever. And they're outside singing that song. It drew me in. It kept me attentive. And the performances that were given by those actors, and then just to have it all shot when researching in 41 days, unbelievable movie. That's why I said it has quickly rose into my top 10. It has cracked my top 10. I don't know where it's going to land on my top 10 list because there's certain movies that'll always be up there, like Shenandoah will always be up there in my top 10. But I love this movie. And, you know, I kind of want to watch it again now because I'm sure I missed something. I want to try to piece more of the puzzle together because here we are. We all just, Eric probably watched it, well, yesterday or the day before. Here we are. We watched it like a week and a half ago. So just trying to recall, like I can recall scenes from that movie. And that's hard to do when it's been like a week and a half. But now you go back and we start talking about this and we get Eric's viewpoint, we get your viewpoint. What did I miss? I had to miss something in there. What part of the puzzle did I not connect that they probably connected and I just didn't catch it because I was too enthralled with the story at the time? So for me, it's a perfect movie. If you've never seen this movie, like I hadn't seen it and Bond hadn't seen it, I highly, highly recommend you watch this movie at least once. Would you guys agree?
Oh yeah, definitely, man. Like I said, if you're a fan of movies like Top Gun and those kind of movies, I think this movie, Officer and a Gentleman's
kind of got what I thought of here too.
I think if you're a fan of either of those movies, go back and watch this 1953 movie. You will not regret it. It'll end up in your top movies of all time.
Yeah, you know I love the black and white movies, so you know, like I said, I think I text you. I want to say it was like around Christmas time, maybe last year, and was like, I kind of threw it out there and was like, hey, maybe you might want to cover it. I just watched it.
You do that every so often. You'll be like, hey, I watched this Humphrey Bogart film. Hey, and I'm like, Eric, come on. Okay. I was like, I think he's just on vacation watching like 30 movies. He's like, I just watched this.
Yeah, next on the docket, you mentioned Humphrey Bogart. I don't know if we've done the Maltese Falcon
yet. We have.
Awesome, too.
We did. That was a great movie. But there's several Humphrey Bogart movies we need to cover. There's several. Treasure of Sierra Madre we did. It's a great movie.
Oh, that's an excellent movie.
Excellent movie. But there's several more Humphrey Bogart movies I want to do. There's also Spencer Tracy. He was in a lot of good movies, too. Laurence Olivier, a lot of them. Michael Caine, a lot of them. What's his name? I can't think of his name. He was in the Heat of the Night. What's his name? He was in Who's Coming to Dinner?
Sidney Poitier.
Sidney Poitier.
Several awesome movies that we need to cover. Some Elvis movies we need to cover too, right? But I wouldn't put them in the same category as
the
those.
Colonel
right?
ruining Elvis's acting career. He didn't get an Oscar like Sinatra.
So there you have it. 6 thumbs up from these 3 guys.
Do you have a prop piece for that one at all?
For me, I want to take the Gentleman's Club sign outside, whatever it was called, the new colony. What was it called?
The Congressional Club.
Yeah, there's a scene. I either want that with the flashing lights on it, or I want the knife that Pruitt kills Maggio with. That Pruitt killed Fatso with. Yeah, but I want the one that Pruitt kills Fatso with. What Fatso had at the beginning that he was going to kill, and you see the camaraderie there too, because what happens? Burt Lancaster's character takes a chair. Boom! He's like, if anybody's going to do any fighting, here's going to be me. Or there's not going to be any fighting. And then what's he do? He pulls that switchblade out on him. He takes a bottle and he breaks it. You know, he's like, let's go.
Yeah, man.
Let's go. Let's go.
That's what I'm saying. A man's man. He's a man's man right there.
Yeah. So if you have any suggestions of movies you would like us to cover, please email us at thetragedyofcinema@gmail.com. You can reach out on Facebook to me or Bond. We're both on there. Or even ADZ. We're all in the group if you want to join. We'd love to have you on if you want to be a special guest. Tim Mullins just messaged me a few minutes ago, actually, and said he's ready to do the Never Ending Story with us because that's something that we've had on the docket with him for about 5 years now, and we've never got together because I've always saved that movie for him because that's one of his favorite movies, and I like that movie too. But if you want to reach out to us, we are the Tragedy of Cinema podcast on Facebook, tragedyofcinema@gmail.com. If you want to leave us a review, we will read it on the air. I just found out this week that people leave comments on Spotify. Never even knew it because I thought, hey, you'll get a notification or something. No, they just pop up under the episode. So I was like, oh, now I got to go through back all 400 of these and see if anybody left a message that I didn't know. But
check out that Hillbilly Horror Stories.
Oh, the Hillbilly Horror Stories.
Halloween special.
Special Halloween. If you want to hear me and Bond talk about Creepshow, which we will release on Halloween on our feed too, but just go over there and support Tracy. That family means a lot to us and to this podcast. Buy a new t-shirt. Just download all their whole catalog so Tracy gets some income coming in. So
yeah,
we love you, Jerry, and we miss you. So with that being said, though, I think this episode's coming to a close. We've been rattling on for like an hour and 15 minutes, but when you're with friends, it's fun. So I think this episode's coming to a close, and that's a wrap.
And
cut.
The tragedy of cinema, where memories shimmer. Join us as we toast to the tales we love the most. The tragedy of cinema, where memories shimmer. Join us as we toast to the tales we love the most. Those we love the most. The tragedy of cinema, when memories shimmer. Join us as we toast to the tales we love the most. To the tales we love the most. The tragedy of cinema, when memories shimmer. Join us as we toast to the tales we love the most. To the tales we love the most. The tales we love the most.
So I was looking at the soundtrack. Not only is Taps played in this movie, but there's also a scene where Frank Sinatra whistles or hums the Chattanooga Choo Choo. And then the song I was thinking about was the Re-Enlistment Blues. And they sing that a couple times in the movie too. So, all right, till next time. Later.
Later.